This is a bookable summary of the book Hyperfocus by Chris Bailey. How long did your attention span used to be? There was a time when you could breeze through tasks without getting distracted and take hours to accomplish what now takes you days. You probably remember a time like that, but most likely before smartphones and Facebook existed. That is to say, it's just been a while. Using simple principles and straightforward techniques can increase your concentration and foster your creativity. Train yourself to enjoy hyperfocus more. Like most people, you've no doubt experienced hyperfocus from time to time, but how can you harness it and make it a regular occurrence? To answer that question, let's look at what you actually do when you hyperfocus. First, let's talk about what you can do to make the object of your attention more compelling. When you're trying to focus on a task, it can help to set a goal for yourself. Having a clear objective in mind will make it easier to maintain your focus. It can also help break your goal into smaller, more manageable parts. For instance, if your goal is to write a paper, break it down into smaller tasks, like coming up with a thesis, doing research, and writing a draft. By taking on one task at a time, you'll be less likely to feel overwhelmed, and more likely to maintain your focus. Another thing that can help you focus is to establish a regular routine. When you have a set time and place for working on a task, it becomes easier to get into the habit of focusing on it. Rather than working frantically and jumping from one job to another, you focus on one thing and keep it there until the task is finished. Meta-awareness and intentional focus are crucial to managing your attention. Meta-awareness is the ability to be aware of one's own thoughts and feelings. This includes the ability to reflect on one's mental state and monitor and regulate emotions. For example, a person who is meta-aware can step back and reflect on their own thought processes and feelings. They may be able to identify when they are feeling upset and take steps to calm themselves down. A meta-aware person may also be able to reflect on their own biases and preconceptions and work to correct them. That's where meta-awareness comes into play. Meta-awareness refers to the ability to step outside your thoughts and become aware of what you're thinking. In this case, you might catch yourself. Intentional focus is the ability to direct your attention to a specific task or goal. Both of these skills are important for managing your attention and ensuring that you can focus on what is important to you. If you're not meta-aware, you may find yourself getting lost in your thoughts and emotions and unable to focus on what is happening around you. This can lead to missed opportunities and wasted time. Meta-awareness and intentional focus can help you to stay focused on what is important to you, be aware of your own thoughts and feelings, avoid getting lost in your own thoughts and emotions, make the most of your time. Achieve hyperfocus by ridding your environment of distractions. When it comes to hyperfocus, clarity is key. With a specific, attainable goal, it's easier to maintain focus for long periods. So, take a minute to think about what you want to achieve, and then break that goal into smaller, more manageable steps. For instance, if your goal is to write a paper, your first step might be doing research. Your second step might be to outline your paper, and so on. You can avoid feeling overwhelmed by the task by taking things one step at a time. And as you complete each step, you'll feel a sense of accomplishment that will spur you on to the next. Once you've identified potential distractions, it's time to take action. If you can't remove the distraction entirely, find a way to minimize its impact. For instance, if you're working on a project that requires concentration, turn off your phone and put it in another room. If you can't do that, put it on silent mode and put it face down on your desk. That way, you won't be tempted to check it every time it buzzes. If you're working at home and you have young children, arrange for someone to take care of them for a few hours so you can have some uninterrupted time. Taking a 5-minute break every hour can help you recharge and return to your work with fresh energy. You can do something relaxing during your break, such as reading or listening to music. Make sure you don't use your break time to check your social media feeds or catch up on the news. That will only make it harder to focus when you start working again. Scatterfocus helps you plan and think creatively. Hyperfocus is a powerful tool. Giving sustained, intense attention to whatever task you're engaged in gives you an edge in various situations. But, despite its usefulness, more than hyperfocus is needed. Your mind needs time to rest and refresh every now and then. And even more importantly, you need to allow yourself to be creative. Hyperfocus is ideal for powering through lengthy, challenging work, but it's most effective when you've already decided on a line of attack. When the situation calls for inventiveness and originality, you must adopt a different approach: Scatterfocus. It provides a structure for your thoughts and ideas and encourages you to explore different angles and perspectives. Scatterfocus is flexible and can be used in many different ways. You might use it to generate ideas for a project or problem, organise your thoughts before a meeting or presentation, explore various aspects of a topic, make decisions by identifying pros and cons, and brainstorm with a group. There are 3 simple steps to using Scatterfocus. Number 1. Write down a topic or question in the centre of a blank page. Number 2. Draw a line from the centre and write down a related idea, thought, or question. Number 3. Repeat step 2 until you have a web of related ideas. You can then start to explore the different ideas and see how they relate to each other. Use Scatterfocus to connect the dots between seemingly unrelated bits of information. Have you ever paid attention to the flow of your thoughts while meditating or trying to fall asleep? If you have, you probably realise that randomness is a crucial characteristic of the resting mind. These random thoughts can be annoying if you're trying to doze off or focus on your breathing, but they can sometimes prove a godsend if you're trying to think creatively. One of the reasons that Scatterfocus can lead to novel ideas and creative breakthroughs is because of something called the Zeigarnik Effect. The Zeigarnik Effect is a psychological phenomenon that states that people are more likely to remember unfinished tasks than completed ones. So, when you focus on a specific task and then move on to something else, your mind is more likely to keep thinking about the first task. This can lead to new ideas and insights about the task. The Zeigarnik Effect can also help to explain why Scatterfocus can lead to more creative breakthroughs. So, if you're stuck on a problem and can't find a solution, try to Scatterfocus. You may find that the answer comes more quickly than you think. Nourish your mind to make the most of Scatterfocus. Your mind is the most powerful tool you have for the creation of good in your life. When you feed your mind with positive thoughts, your life will improve. One way to nourish your mind is to provide yourself with positive affirmations. You say these statements to yourself to affirm that something good is happening in your life. For example, you might say to yourself, "I'm attracting abundance into my life," or "I'm healthy and happy." One good strategy is to discover more about your area of interest and create a constellation of related dots in your mind. Studying famous historic architects' designs, biographies, and working methods make a lot of sense if you're an architect. Most importantly, the informational dots you consume are high quality, whatever their domain. Reading biographies and taking online courses are 2 surefire ways to nourish your mind. Binge watching TV and scrolling through social media sites, less so. Just as you choose nutritious foods for your health and creativity, you should ensure that what you read, watch, and listen to possesses intellectual value. What's your most important key takeaway? Please comment down below and share the video if you like it. Check out these other 2 videos. Thank you, and until next time.